meeting Elvis, meeting Anne Margaret. My dream exactly came true, and my show was called Vive les Girls. Vive les Girls. So not that far off, right?
Wasn't there a naughty number in that show?
Oh, they were all naughty. All the numbers were
Vegas.
Why? Which one did you hear about?
I was thinking
There was a lesbian number. How did you know that? And I was a singer in that, thanks to Elvis. I sang a song, "A Good Man Is Hard to Find," and we all know about that.
Oh
right?
yes. I think some people are hard to find. That's true. Not today, I don't think. That's why they're all sitting down. Anyway, moving on.
Anyway, I think I'll have a drink.
I think there's some people that come into your life that change, that when you're at a crossroads and they change your life. Please tell them who that person was that slightly gave you the great advice and changed your life.
That person did change my life. Like, just I was going along this way and took a hard left turn or something. That was Elvis, who I met in Vegas when I was 17. I was underage. And Elvis, actually, among some other things he told me that I was too young to be there in Vegas. It wasn't a good place for a young girl, and I should really think of another job, even though that was my dream job, and that's all I wanted to do. He said, you really need to think about doing something else. And he played the piano, and we sang together, and he said, you have a decent voice. Why don't you go out and get vocal lessons and become a singer instead? And I wouldn't have done it if anybody but Elvis had told me that, I mean, come on, when he tells you to do something, you do it, right? So I went out next day, got vocal lessons, ended up singing in my show, Good Man Is Hard to Find, and then went on a career. I ended up coming to Europe and stayed in England for a while, but couldn't work because of visa and all that. And then went to Paris, and then eventually ended up in Italy, where I went on the road with a band, an Italian kind of rock band.
And that's with Fellini that you did a movie with?
It is. I was walking down the street, and Federico Fellini was shooting the movie Roma, and there was a guy there from Vegas who had made a documentary about showgirls when I was there, Stuart Birnbaum. I'll never forget. And he said he was the director, the student director with Fellini on the movie. Said, would you like to meet Mr. Fellini? I said, why not? And when Fellini met me, he said, oh my God, you look like my wife, Giulietta Messina, when she was a young girl. So bizarre. And he said, would you like a part in the movie? I was like, oh yeah. So then I got a part. It's not big. I'm in the movie I flashed by in a blink of the eye, but I worked for 30 days on the film, and it was money, and it was like, oh my God, because I was kind of a struggling, starving artist by that time.
Yeah. Well, I love that story. I love the fact you travelled and you go and you've done all this amazing. This is before the big break happens, and I love the fact that happened not when you were very young. I love the fact you travelled and you were worldly before you got to the point, which we'll jump to, which is what you're more interested in than is the movement Macabre.
Well, I was going to say one thing. When I was really young, I actually came to Europe when I was, how old was I? About 15 or 16, with a school group studying art history. I was studying the guys in Europe. I really was. But my main point for coming here was the Beatles. I wanted to come to England. The whole Merseybeat thing was happening, the Beatles. Oh my God. It was the biggest deal of my life, being able to come to England, just where the Beatles had come from, and so that was really my main reason for studying art history.
I think that's pretty nice.
So I had been here one time before, but just for a few weeks, and then from the time I was here, all I could think of was getting back to Europe again someday.
It's an amazing place, and I love America, but I love Europe, and I love England even more. So after all that journey, you end up back in LA and about to be now about to have a special guest.
Oh, hi, how are you? We're all buddies.
Yeah. Hi.
We used to date.
Did you?
Yeah.
So did I.
One of my ex-boyfriends. Thank God he doesn't talk.
So the time Movement Macabre comes along, you're just been married, and you're on your honeymoon when you hear about the audition.
That's right.
So, did you? At that point, you didn't know much about Horror Host?
I didn't. I really didn't even know what Horror Host was, actually. Whoa, and they're all over the place. What's happening?
We're under attack.
Lord. Just hope Freddie doesn't show up next. Yeah, so I didn't know much about Horror Host because I had not grown up in a place. I had grown up on a farm in Kansas, and we were way too poor to have Horror Host, back then. So I did not know what a horror host was until it was explained to me in this job, that I would be hosting bad horror movies. I loved horror, thank God, especially the old black and white type of horror that I had grown up with, the Roger Corman films and the Hammer films, and that's what I kind of grew up on. So I loved that stuff. So when they told me there was a job that involved horror, I was like, yeah, this is right up my alley. But I didn't get the whole concept of the horror host then.
And there was, I forgot the name of the gentleman that had just passed away that you were
God, now I'm blanking. It's jet lag.
I'm sure someone probably here can tell us. But.
Sinister Seymour. Oh, my brain's taking a really long time to click in. Yeah, he had just passed away, and they were looking to replace him in the Los Angeles market in Hollywood.
So originally, that was going to be, in theory, the Vampira show. So they were going to do a revival of that show. She was originally involved, but then when she left the project, you had to change the name. So what I love that story, is how you got the. But I think that was one of those fateful things that come along. If that never happened, you would not have the brand, because you would have owned the character.
I would not own the brand. I would have owned it with, Vampira would have owned it, and I would have been working for her, and oh my God, that
so
would have
in
been
a weird way, it all happened for the best reasons. Obviously not so much later with the court case, but,
I always say that, when bad things happen, a lot of bad things happen, to everybody in their life, and when bad things happen, it often ends up turning around your life and becoming something that would not have happened. You have to look at it a little bit in a good way. I sort of use the example of I was burned as a child when I was in Kansas. It was for Easter. My mom was boiling Easter eggs, and she was not in the room, and I climbed up on the stove and pulled a big kettle of boiling water on me. And 35% of my body is skin grafting now. I barely survived. I survived because penicillin, the type of penicillin that they use nowadays, had just come out. That's how old I am. And they used penicillin experimentally, and it saved my life. Because in those days, if you were burned over 35% of your body, you really didn't survive. Kane Hodder and I talk about burns all the time. And anyway, luckily, all the burns were strategically placed that don't show. My dress is perfect. It shows all the good parts. And
it does show.
But the burns were when I was a little kid. Kids called me monster, made fun of me, and my burn scars then were really pronounced on my neck and shoulders. So I just wore black all the time. I think I became the first goth because of my burns. I wore black turtlenecks, black everything, and was very quiet and kind of hid, I think all that in the end kind of. I don't know, helped me to be who I am. It fed into it somehow. I don't think without that happening that I would be who I am now.
No.
So it was a very bad thing, but it really, shaped my life and turned it into something good.
Yeah, totally.
That was a long story.
That was a great. No, I'm glad you brought that up. So I've always wanted to hear about how that happened, and when I first read about that, I was because you would never be the least person I'd ever say would be a victim. If that makes sense.
Thank you.
Because you're so strong.
My character, Elvira, definitely.
Yeah,
I try to learn things from her.
Obviously, yeah, exactly. Yeah. So the name Elvira, where did that come from?
The name Elvira was the day we were shooting the show for the first time, Movie Macabre, my horror hosting show. We're in there ready to shoot. I'm going, this is the stupidest show I've ever, this is not going to work out. I really did. It was so cheesy, and you should have seen where I was shooting and everything. If you've seen Mistress of the Dark, in the beginning when I'm sitting on that pedestal with my couch, and the weather map plops
That's
down.
my favourite visual gag in any movie of all
Well,
time.
there you
The
go.
timing
It
is
was
delicious.
real. It was absolutely real. That's how they shot it. I had from the news that started at noon to the news that started at 5. So the news got over about 1. I had from 1 to 5 to shoot my show, and if you didn't get a shot, it wouldn't happen. So they just stuck my TV show shooting in between those few hours. Anyway, for the first time that I went out to do it, we were going to call it, they were calling it Vampira. I was supposed to be Vampira's daughter or something. And a lawyer came running in, the stage manager came running in and said a lawyer had called, you cannot use the name Vampira. So we were like, oh, this is fantastic. I'm going on in just 1 minute, you know. So everybody on the crew, the lighting guy, the director, and everyone that was in the room threw a name in a coffee can, a Folgers coffee can, and I put the name in Cassandra. I thought that was a brilliant name. I thought it did sound kind of spooky though, right?
It does, it sounds...
Thank God I
Yes.
didn't get that name. So I reached in the can and I pulled out the name and it was Elvira. I'm like, this is so stupid. It sounds like a country western star or something to me. I don't get it. They said, that's what you're being called. Get out there. And that was that. You're Elvira. End of story.
I wish you kept a piece of paper now.
I know. I wish I had that too. Let me tell you how many times I've
Because
got that.
obviously, I really want to get this. The coffee table book that came out last Halloween, 35 Years of Elvira, is incredible. Unfortunately, it's not available here yet.
Yeah,
but
we're
it's coming
working on
soon.
having it.
It's on Elvira.com though, isn't it? It's on the web, but
It
to
is.
order it from the States, it's a little bit expensive.
The shipping.
But I'm going to do it because I'm
Ridiculous. Oh, thank you.
But-
I wish I could have hauled them with me, but really they weigh like 4.5 pounds each. I would have had luggage bigger than this table.
Yes, I've just come back from America myself, and I was in Vegas, and I don't really do sci-fi there, and I was going like, well, I need the book, I really want the book. And I got the wonderful sort of gas station that sells a few comics that has it. Tell us about the costume design, how did that come about?
My best friend at the time, a guy named Robert Redding, he and I had been in a show together. Did you ever hear about the show called Mama's Boys?
Is the disco group?
Yes,
Yes.
it was like disco was really big. Gay discos were like super happening then. So it was me and 7 gay men. I was Mama, and we went on the road doing comedy, singing, and dancing. And it was really a show that really people loved. It was.
I want to see that show.
It was pretty fabulous, and they were in drag and out of drag. And we had a fabulous time doing the show. But we did that for about 4 years, and Robert was one of my boys in the show. So Robert lived in LA, where I went back to, and he became one of my closest friends. He was already my closest friend, and he was very, very artistic. He was a wonderful artist. He's drawn posters of, oh my God, every movie star you can imagine for different plays and everything. He had quite a name as an artist. But he designed my costume. I'm going into all this long detail. Are you guys falling asleep yet? Okay. Anyway, Robert and I got together. They said you have to come up with a look. When I got the job, they didn't know what I was going to look like. So they said, come up with a look. My idea was to go with kind of a Sharon Tate in the Fearless Vampire Killers, but as we all know, it's too late for Sharon Tate.
I love
So
that
anyway, we
image, I
didn't
love
do
that
it.
image.
But one of my favorite movies, Fearless Vampire Killers, which you said was called something else
Okay,
here.
it's called Dance of the Vampires, which is much more of a romantic title, but they've gone back to the original title now because it's the French one. I think you can still, it's because I used to rent it in the 80s, I used to get Dance of the Vampires out on VHS, and then a few later, obviously I'd rent Elvira Mistress of the Dark quite a lot. Because I know it off by heart, which I'm sure everybody in this room probably can know that movie very well. And then, but you weren't allowed to use that, but why?
But well, they when we took it in, and I had long red hair and kind of a white dead girl look going on with white lips and really dark eyes. But then this pale pink dress that was, kind of tattered and ghost-like. The first thing the studio manager said, oh, no, you have to be all in black. It has to be all black hair. And we're going, typical, And we really wanted to stay away from looking like Vampira or Morticia or, anyone like that. It is so kind of typical. So Robert did the same thing with the black, but he gave it kind of an 80s spin. And he gave the hair a very 60s spin from his favorite singing artist, Ronnie Spector of the Ronettes. And he calls the hairdo a knowledge bump. And if you think my hair is high, you should go online and Google pictures of Ronnie Spector. Her hair in the 60s was like freaking, I don't know what it was like.
I don't know what that is, because that's her own hair, I'm guessing.
Yeah, it was her own hair. But awesome hairstyle and kind of an 80s look with the little studs and, the leather and studs.
Ode to you today.
Exactly. And because the punk thing was kind of going on then. So we tried to combine all those. We drew a picture of them. If you ever see the book, you'll see in the beginning of the book there are all these sketches.
Worth the price of the book alone to see the original sketches. I would love to say that.
Yeah.
And we ought to take some questions, I think, really.
Yeah,
so
probably
we have a
before he
glamorous
gets over.
assistant.
Oh,
wow, that's really hot. And you look fabulous. How amazing do you look?
Yeah, you look beautiful.
It's so nice to meet you.
What's your name, darling?
Amy.
Hi, Amy.
Just a simple question. How long does it take you to get into your hair, makeup, dress? How long does it take?
Robert used to help me when he was alive. He sadly died in the AIDS epidemic in the 80s. But it always took about between an hour and a half and 2 hours. He taught me how to do the makeup. I cannot do makeup. People sort of assume I'm really great at doing makeup. I suck at makeup.
I do it myself. Not a chance on anybody else.
Yeah, no, I've had other people do it. Even recently, there was this very famous makeup artist. They said, let him do your makeup for this print ad I was doing. And they said, oh, he's fantastic. And it was horrible. I mean, it looked good, but not like Elvira. And I had to end up washing it off and doing the whole thing again. But I always do my own makeup because I want it to look exactly the same, better or worse, I don't care. I want it to look like Elvira. So it takes about an hour and a half to 2 hours. But Robert had developed the makeup from a character he was doing in Macbeth. You're not supposed to say that. Hecate, the witch.
Oh, wow.
And he was doing that part in a Shakespearean play. He was an actor, singer, dancer, artist, brilliant guy. And so he developed the makeup on himself, and he got that idea from a kabuki book of kabuki theater, and then did the makeup on me.
Oh my goodness, really?
Yeah, and so I ended up being that.
I love that. Anybody else? Oh, the gentleman in front. I've got the microphone there, thank you. What's your name?
My name's Andy.
Hi, Andy.
You were a guest judge on RuPaul's Drag Race the other year. Who took longer to get ready, you or Ru?
What?
Oh, who took longer to get ready, you or RuPaul?
Oh, him, let me tell you. Oh my God, no.
Ru and Matthew are...
Everybody, yes, Matthew, he had Matthew.
He had Matthew, yes.
I don't know what happened there.
Anything on this?
Anyway.
Private message me.
Yeah, but he was in there for
fascinated
days. Yeah, I mean, it is easier to get ready when you're a woman, probably, than when you're a man. Oh, well, you wouldn't know about that. But yeah, there were a few extra things he had to take care of.
And I think it takes it very easily as well, doesn't it? They watch a movie, they'll watch, I think they have Mistress of the Dark on.
Probably, because, yeah, just on a continuous loop, it never ends.
That sounds heaven to me.
But he's great, and he's a very, very long time friend of mine, and adorable. But it did take him longer to get ready.
Yeah. Anybody else? Oh, there's a gentleman over here. Sorry.
Yeah, it's hard to see over there.
Sorry, right at the end of the row. Back to...
You have to yell if you're over there.
Yes, right. Because of the...
I'd ask her a question.
Yes. Hello, what's your name?
Neil.
Hi, Neil.
I've heard about that you're doing a new TV show on Hulu in America. Is that going to come out over here?
Oh, I wish. Do you guys even have Hulu over here?
I believe I've tried to hack that a few times. Just
Yeah. I wish we could sell it over here. That's actually a good idea. Maybe there is someone I can find a TV station that I could sell it to.
Yeah, maybe.
It was a blast doing that show.
What is the concept of the show?
It's a horror hosting. It's movies. 13 movies that were kind of awesome. They weren't my usual movies I showed, but they were really fun.
I think we get to do the same movies like Wild Woman in the Wonga and Brain That Wouldn't Die and things like that.
Yeah. So that movies with me hosting them, and a little more edgy than I usually get because it wasn't on regular TV, so there weren't the all the censorship in place. So we got to be a little funnier and edgier, I think. So I wish that's actually a good idea if I can get that away and try to sell it over here.
Because I think
Because you guys speak English, right?
Yeah.
So you'd understand, maybe, I don't know. See.
We would love to, obviously, we'd love to see anything that you say you as well. Anybody else? Can we say? Oh, sorry, Joe. Hi, sorry, sweetheart. I can see you then. It's the cataracts. What's your name?
My name's Liana.
Hi, Leon.
Do you own Elvira's car? And can you tell me anything about Elvira's car?
I do. It was really funny about my car, the Macabre Mobile. I had always referred to it on my first TV show, always saying, well, I gotta get out of here. I'm gonna jump in the old Macabre Mobile and take off.
Oh, is that where it came from?
Yeah, I always just referred to jumping in the Macabre Mobile and getting out of there. Then I did the movie, and we decided to use the Macabre Mobile in the movie, and we suddenly realized, myself and the other writer, John Paragon, who had written my show with me, that we would have to come up with a car, you know, what would it look like? And they were suggesting a hearse and this and that. We thought, again, you know, typical. So, which, you know, I love hearses, but, you know, I wanted something a little different. So we were thinking what we could do, and I was walking down Melrose Avenue one day in Hollywood, and I saw this 59 black convertible T-Bird, and I was like, that's it, that is the car, that's what Elvira would drive. So I go and tell the crew of the movie, and they're like, you're out of your freaking mind, because that thing is $1 zillion, we cannot afford that in the movie. So I was really, really bummed out, and I kept begging for that car. And they finally found a hardtop, which they chainsawed the roof off. Hardtops were much, much cheaper. I mean, they found a really beat-up old piece of crap that did not work, it didn't run. The car in the movie doesn't run. They either push it or tow it. So whenever you see it in the movie, it's on a bed, it's being towed, it's being pulled, it didn't run. But it looked good, right? And exactly like me. Didn't work, but it looked good. So anyway, they got the movie the car as a prop in the movie, and when the movie was over, they said, "Would you like to buy it? We're going to get rid of these things." And stupidly, I said, "No. Who wants to? I don't have a place to put an old car that doesn't work, you know." So I let it go, which later I was kicking myself. I mean, but turns out this very famous photographer, Lynn Goldsmith, she's a huge rock photographer, had bought the car, fixed it up, had it all in running order, working order, and years later, maybe 10, 12 years later, she moved to New York City, didn't need a car anymore, and called me up and asked if I'd like to buy it. So we bought it for really cheap. It was beat to hell. She used it as a real car, and so it's convertible. It's a full-time convertible, so it sits out in the rain and whatever. There's no top for it, you know. So it was really a wreck. We bought it anyway. Had George Barris, who's a very famous car. You know, he did the Batmobile and the, oh my God, all the famous old cars,
yes.
the Munster coach.
Yes.
He had done all those cars, so spent a fortune fixing the car up, and then I owned it, so there you go. And it's recently been on the show working, what's it called? Counting Cars.
Yes.
Working cars.
Working girl.
Yeah. So they fixed it up, and now it's in the Hollywood Museum. I still own it, but it's on display in LA if you ever get over there in the Hollywood Museum.
And the boot looks awesome. Yeah, they redid the boot. Did they redo the engine as well?
They fixed the engine up. It's got the original engine, but they made it work. Yeah, which is nice when you have a car. You can try it.
Anybody else? Can't see. Oh, there's a gentleman at the back. Hi.
Might have to just yell.
Oh, there he is. Who's been past. Hi, what's your name?
Hello, I'm Ryan.
Hi, Ryan.
I was just wondering if you were going to make any more movies at any other point, because the few I have seen with you in them, they're fantastic.
Oh,
thank you. I wish,
I love Haunted
you
Hills
know.
as well as Mistress of the Dark.
Thank you.
That's your production company that did that.
Haunted Hills we did with our money. Don't ever do that, I'm telling y'all right now. Yeah, because when Mistress of the Dark came out, it had terrible, terrible box office numbers because it came out, and I always sound like sour grapes, but the day it came out, the distribution company went bankrupt, New World. And my movie was going to be released in something like, I don't remember, 32,000 theaters or whatever, ended up being released in 350 theaters. So even if you were Star Wars, you couldn't make a lot of box office if you were in 350 theaters. So unfortunately, In Hollywood, all they look at is how much did your last movie make in box office? Mine made none, very, very little. And so I can go around. I have been shopping other movies for years and years and years, and no one wants to put the money up. So I finally did it myself. Nightmare. But did the movie. But people always say they like the first one better, and I say, of course you do. It cost almost $13 million to make. My second movie cost $1 million, so you don't have.
And in the era before, when you did it, it was still probably being shot in film. You shot it in Transylvania.
We shot it in Transylvania.
Yes.
Yeah, in Romania,
And
in the
that's-
area that's Transylvania.
And I love the fact that all the extras at the beginning are just the local villagers.
They are the village people.
Village people.
Yeah, who listens to the village people anymore? Anyway, somebody was saying, "Oh my God, you had such wonderful costumes, and the look of the people were so fabulous." But that's just the people, and there they like wear long dresses and drive herds of geese in front of them. It was weird. So we did get some beautiful, value for our money. Our money over there.
Well, I think you did a lot with $1 million. If that going there, I think it looks spectacular. And the sets look incredible. There's
Thank
literal
you.
sets, aren't there? They're just not,
They are sets that they built in Romania that would have cost us millions of dollars in LA, and over there in Romania, made them for thousands.
Yes, exactly. And the quality, I think.
And the actors were pretty awesome too. We had a lot of really good comedy
Richard
actors.
Bryan is amazing. I love the lady that plays Fabrica. That's sort
Mary Shearer.
that scream she does when she
Yeah.
first sees you is hilarious.
She was in Mad TV in the U.S. I don't know if you guys have heard of that show, but it's kind of like a Saturday Night Live. She's a fabulous comic actress.
I think we have time for just one more question. Does anybody?
One last question?
Oh, hi! There's a lady. Hi, there's coming from behind.
Oh.
Oh, there's a microphone just coming to you, darling. What's your name?
Hi, I'm Stephanie.
Hi.
Look awesome.
Was Gonk your dog, or what happened to him?
Oh, Algonquin.
Oh yes, my dog in the movie Gonk. No, he was not my dog. He was a trained dog. There was a trained animal company working there with the Rottweilers and the rat and the dog.
Yeah.
And Gonk was the meanest little bastard. I love dogs. Love dogs. Love animals. And I'm so, I love them. And I try to go over and pet that little bastard, and he would bite you every time you touched him. I mean, most of the pictures, I'm trying to just be cool. If you see me with him, I'm like, He loved his trainer, this woman, and he hated everybody else. Hated you. He bit Kurt, the guy that was the real estate salesman.
Oh, yeah.
Bit him very badly on the ankle. He had to go to the hospital. He was just an awful little dog, but brilliant, really well trained, and obviously in the movie he came out great. But of course there were 3 Algonquins in the movie. There were 3 of him. There was one main, really well trained one blind one that had to be dropped into a trash can. That sounds so horrible, but let me tell you, I was there. I'm like the ASPCA. On my, I was like, I wouldn't let them use any permanent dye, so they had to be dyed every day freshly with vegetable dye. When they dropped that poor little dog in the trash can, I had a guy sitting in the trash can to catch him. I had pillows and everything down there. So I was very, very careful about how the animals were used and how they were treated. They were treated much, much better than I was in the movie. Let me tell you that. But anyway, he of course has passed away. He'd be like 35 years old right now. He'd be the oldest dog in history.
That's true.
Yeah,
That's true.
I loved him though. He came out great in the movie, and people of course love him.
Yeah, that story was amazing. Well, I think we're going to have to wrap it
You
up.
know what funny thing? I got to say
Yes,
one
yes,
thing.
sure, please.
When you see all these scenes, we're doing like I'm in the living room with Bob and the kids. I think, and Gonk comes running out and hides the recipe book.
Yes, yeah.
And all the scenes that there were an animal in, there's the trainer on the side. We had to go in and do the voiceovers again later, dub it, because when you see any scene in the movie, just imagine this when you're seeing it. The trainer's over there going, "Gonk, sit, Gonk, lay down, So you're trying to say your lines, and you're like, this woman's shrieking.
And you've got to get it perfect, because the take
You
they're
have
going
to
use
say it
is
exactly
the,
right, be really cool while this woman is screaming.
Because the only Is there any good news that tape where the dog does it right?
That's
So
right.
you'll be right every single time.
That's what I say. Don't work with dogs or kids.
Was there anything you'd like to tell us about that coming up that you'd like to share? Any sort of projects and things like that, or any merchandising
Well,
stuff?
thank you for asking.
Yeah, so,
Yeah, I don't really
Stuff
do
going
have
on.
things coming up. I have a new pinball machine that just came out. I have a new slot machine that just came out, which is really a state-of-the-art, amazing slot machine. If you guys ever gamble around here, it should be coming to the UK sometime
As in,
soon.
because I played it in Vegas.
I just won $500 on it.
I won 7.
That's awesome.
I'm not a gambler, so I was really excited that I'd won anything. So I was like, I won!
Well, if I would have known you before then, I would have let you make more money.
It's a
off it.
beautiful machine. Absolutely
Thank you. It is
fantastic.
fun, isn't it?
Stunning.
And a new pinball machine, which is pretty amazing because they don't really make pinball machines anymore so much.
There's a pinball museum
I
in
haven't loved
Vegas, I
pinball.
think, that
Huh?
there's a pinball museum in Vegas that has your machine.
Yeah, there
too.
is. It's awesome.
So I
pinball.
love the fact there's a new one
Yeah.
coming out.
Yeah, me too. And then I'm working on an animated television show, which I'm still in the process of, just finished writing it, and with a couple friends of mine, and now we're doing a pilot for it. And animation, of course, takes forever.
Yes.
You know, that you see an animated show on TV and you'll be sure there's like 3 years in the making at least. But we're working on that. And of course I'm trying to finish my autobiography, which you guys just mostly heard all of it, so you don't have to buy it. And I mentioned Elvira.com in case
Yes.
you need to know anything about me. Just go on there and you'll probably find out way more than you ever wanted to.
And it has got some amazing merchandise, great line of t-shirts, just beautiful stuff on there. So check that out, guys. And you're going to be signing next, aren't you?
I'm going to be signing. I'm going to be taking photos first, and then
Oh, you're
I'm
getting
gonna be
photographs first?
Yep,
Okay.
yep. And
then
I'm
you'll
going to be
signing.
back at my table signing whatever you happen to have there.
Yeah.
And I'll be
Nothing too
anything. You
rude.
pay for it. I'll sign.
You heard
You
it.
wouldn't believe some of the things I've signed.
I've seen quite a few things. What I would love to do is, if we could say it together as a sign-off, could we do unpleasant dreams together? So after 3,
Okay.
1, 2, 3.
Unpleasant dreams.
Another Cassandra Peterson.